Hello, everyone. How are you today? And I hope you're preparing for the festive period. I decided to do this video because I consider it very important as we are nearing the end of the year and entering into a new year that I share my thoughts on what can make people succeed in 2025. Sometimes you see by the beginning of the year, people make their New Year resolution and it's so quick, so sharp and shabby that within the next 2 weeks, well, if I'm generous enough, within the next 1 month, people have really forgotten about what they said they were going to do for that year. But let's talk about how we can do a very systematic plan for a successful 2025. And why is this important? Because it will help you save your time, it will help you save resources, and it will also help you concentrate on what really matters to you for the year. It doesn't really matter what the thing is, it could be something as simple as learning a new skill, entering into the university, or doing another program if you're done with one program. So whatever it is that you want to achieve, you might have one or two or three things you want to achieve in 2025. Whatever it is, you need to plan to succeed in that. So we're going to approach this video in two ways how you can plan. But before we move on to that, I just want to say thank you to all our viewers who have subscribed to our YouTube channel, who liked, shared, and pressed the notification button. I mean, you are the best. You are the best. I will say it again. So thank you very much. And if you are new to our video, please go on and subscribe, go on and like, go and form our vibrant community so that more people would have access to the valuable information that we're sharing every now and then. So back to what I was talking about. Yeah, 2025, it's a very important year for many reasons. People would have different things they want to do. People will have different plans they want to make. People will have different objectives they want to achieve. So I would like to use this video to help you focus yourselves and plan yourself well. Okay, so the principles we're going to approach in this video are the biblical principle and the management principle. So from the biblical point of view, Jesus was talking about a man who had this lofty plan of building a house and did not first of all sit down to count the cost of what it will take to build this very majestic building, and just went straight to start building. This guy ended up not completing the building. In fact, it was at the foundation level. And the Bible says that this guy was laughed at. People scorned at him because he started a building and did not finish it. It's interesting to know that many of us are like this biblical parable that Jesus talked about. We have lofty plans, we have very great plans in mind, what we want to achieve, where we want to go, the vacations we want to attend, but we don't sit down to really think about how we will bring all those things to pass. There is a level of sitting down. So I'm going to address this sitting down and other things you're going to be doing in terms of your planning using the management principles that have been tested and proven. So the first thing you need to do is to think about where I am at the moment. And that's about the current analysis of what you're doing at the moment. So what are you doing at the moment? What is your state? What's your economic status? What's your financial background? What all the things that you're doing at the moment that would help you go to where you want to go to. And you're going to approach that using the SWOT analysis by understanding your strengths, your weaknesses, your opportunities, and your threats. So, what are your strengths? What are your strengths? What are you good at doing? What have you already achieved? If you want to go to the university, do you already have maybe an undergrad, for instance, if you want to do masters? So, what are your strengths? What are you good at? Those are your strengths. And what are your weaknesses? What are the things that you're not very good at the moment that are limiting you to get to the point you want to get to? Do you need to learn new things, maybe learn new language? You don't have the communication skills to do what you need to do, and you need to learn that. So those can be weaknesses, and they have been the things that have been drawing you back. You need to take out time and sit down and analyze your strengths and your weaknesses. There are also opportunities that are around you. Going back to the example I gave, it doesn't have to be an academic example like having a scholarship. I mean, going for university education or masters or PhD. But using that example, it could just be that opportunities around you you don't know about, you need to articulate. For instance, do you have the funding? If you don't have the funding for that, are you aware of the opportunities like scholarships, the fundings, the grants that you can get to do what you need to do? You need to make those assessments and be sure that you have them around. And the last one is to check out the threats, things that would externally affect your plans. So, if for instance you want to travel abroad in the coming year, you need to be sure that there are no threats like immigration restrictions or things that would just limit that plan. And it is your duty to sit down and look at these four things. What are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? Those are things internal to you. What are the opportunities and what are my threats? Those are external things to you. The strengths and the opportunities are to your advantage, so you have to maximize them. Whereas your weaknesses and your threats work to your disadvantage. You have to minimize them to be able to get to where you want to get to. At least having done that, you will know your baseline, you know where you are at the moment. So the second thing you need to do is to think about where I want to go to, where I want to go to. And how do you do that? You begin to cast a vision. So you think about the vision of what you want to do in 2025. Do you have a framed vision in your mind? Have you written those visions down? Do you have, the aims and objective of why you want to do what you want to do? Let me just dwell on this. You know, why you want to do a thing is very important because it gives you the energy to go on even when you're losing fuel and you're getting exhausted. So the vision is where you want to go, but the why of where you want to go to where you want to go to is very important. So if you've not sat down to articulate your 2025, it's going to be very difficult for you to know when you get to where you where you want to get to. And it's a shame that some persons try to just live their life and say anything that comes will go, anything, however it happens, we'll just live through that. No, you don't have to allow yourself to be controlled by anything that comes. You need to shape 2025 by having a vision. So, and this vision, as we talk about it, doesn't necessarily have to be a very lofty thing. It can be you having very good relationship with your family members. You don't have much time with your wife, with your children, and in 2025 you're saying, I'm going to cut down on a lot of other things and have time with my family. That is also a very brilliant vision that you are looking out for. It could be that you want to make more money, you want to add extra quid to your pocket. That's also very good. Whatever it is, it doesn't have to be what other people are thinking about, but you need to sit down and cast a vision for 2025. And the next thing you need to do It's to set a target, how you get to that vision. So it's very important. So you don't just say by 2025, I want to build a mansion, and you haven't set a target how you want to do that. Or I want to let go of some very unhealthy habits, and you have not set targets to how you want to achieve that. So how do I set my targets? I would give you a simple way of organizing that, and that is called the SMART rule. So the SMART rule stands for specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-bound goals. So that's your vision that you're looking at, and the goal you're setting to get to that vision has to be specific. So you can't just say in 2025, I want to be a millionaire. No, that's so vague. But you could say in 2025, I want to make 500 quid or whatever currency you're using per month. Or I want to add additional extra income like 20 quid on top of what I'm getting. So it's specific. Or you say next year, I want to apply and be enrolled for my master's degree program. It's quite specific. Maybe you can now say in public health, in law, in engineering, whatever. So it doesn't really matter, but you need to be very specific. And it has to be measurable. So that at the end of the year, I can say that I said I was going to do this, and I'm able to measure by December next year to say, I have been able to achieve this. So when it's ambiguous, it becomes difficult to measure. So that your goal has to be measurable. You might want to say, okay, I want to spend 2 hours per day with my family. So it's something measurable that at the end of 2 hours, you're able to, at the end of the year, you're able to say, yes, I actually did 1 hour, 30 minutes, 2 hours, or I did more than 2 hours. So you're able to measure that. And it also has to be achievable. There's no point telling yourself you're going to be the president of your country when you've not got all it takes to be that. So it might be achievable at a later time, but not in 2025. So whatever vision you're casting for 2025, try to cast a vision that is achievable within that range. That is true. You know, one of the things that happens when you cast an over ambitious vision, it gets you exhausted, it gets you tired, it gets you demoralized, and at the end of the day, you are depressed that you weren't able to achieve that. Therefore, it's better to cast a vision, even if it's not so much, and you're able to begin to do something about it incrementally. That's a better thing to do than to have a lofty, a gigantic idea, vision that you, at the end of the day, not make use of because you didn't have all the resources and it became too much for you and overwhelming. So the next thing is realistic. So there's some form of relationship between being realistic and achievable. So we shouldn't think about something that wouldn't be realized or you can't rely on within the next 1 year if your vision is to cast a 12 months plan between now and the end of next year. And it should be time bound. So very important to say by March of 2025, I would have applied for this university master's degree program. By April of 2025, I would have enrolled for one course or the other. It could be business course, it could be musical training, or anything at all. But that should be time bound. And by the end of that period, you are able to say, I was able to achieve this between January to December. So that's how to think about where I am going to. Remember, we've talked about the first thing, current analysis of where you are by doing a SWOT analysis. The second thing is where I'm going to by casting a vision and setting SMART goal. The next thing is How do I get there? Very important thing. When you sit down and do your current analysis, think about where you're going to, and you don't factor in how you get there, the first two would make no sense at the end. So, how do you get to where you want to get to? You need to think about it. How do I implement my actions or my vision, my goals, all the things I've talked about? It's for you to think about it. Weigh your options. For instance, again, let's go back to that our example of trying to enter into a university. Remember, you could use any other example you want to use, but let's stick with this example. So you may have like a number of options. Say the cost of attending or paying for your master's degree program is say £10,000. For instance, it might be more, it might be less, depending on where you're schooling. So just take, for instance, that's what you want to do. The options you may have available to you could be: I can pay from my pocket, that's if you have the money, or I can seek some funding from my parents, from my friends, and all that. That's also a possibility. The other option is maybe seek for scholarship from the university or from funders around. So these are the options that easily come to mind that you might check around. It might even be to get a student loan where that is possible. So you're weighing your options and seeing if there might be some combinations of those options, which one will work best for you depending on your situation. And what might work best for me might not work best for you. That's why you need to sit down and do those things. Get a paper and pen and stick your bum on the seat and do that for as long as it takes. I mean, it doesn't have to be a day, it can be over many days, but you want to get it right. So if you spend a couple of days planning all these things for what will yield something reasonable for you over 12 months, that's a good return on investment if you finally achieve what you want to achieve. So when you have weighed the options, what's the next thing you do? You take action. Action, action, action. You have to take action. I mean, if you don't take action, you have lost the very reason why you started planning. Sometimes people wait until the whole time is finished. They are waiting for a perfect weather. Somewhere in the scriptures, Ecclesiastes chapter 11, verse 4, it says that if you wait for a perfect weather, you will not do anything. You will not be able to do anything because there's really not going to be any time that everything will be perfect. There's not going to be any time that everything, all the stars will align for you to take action. But you find out that when you take small, bold steps and continue to take action, things will begin to shaping up for you, things will begin to align for you. So take action. If you want to start, you could start by browsing the university, what's it called, intranet or internet, their site, to see what options they have, when the school is going to start. You might, if you want to do a management program course, you can browse and check what are the available courses, what are the master classes, are they done online or are they done in person. Those are actions you're taking. And if you need to apply, go ahead and apply. At least those ones, sometimes you don't need to pay anything to apply in terms of money application fee. So what am I trying to say? You take action. If you don't take action, nothing really works without you taking action. So these are the things you start doing. And when you're taking your action, you find out that um, the way you thought the things will things will turn out may not be how it will turn out, because there is actually a difference between what you plan on paper and what you see in reality while implementing any goal or any vision. So what do? You adjust. You regularly revisit your vision, your goals, your aim and objective, and try to work on that to be sure that the changes that are occurring, the practical changes or implementation changes that are occurring, that you are up to speed in changing your plans, your strategy, and things like that. So very important. So it doesn't have to be something that is very rigid or fixed, but you're very flexible. What do you do when you start putting your work in, I mean, your plans into action? You find out that there's a gush of energy. People will begin to notice that, yeah, this guy, this lady is walking in this direction. You might begin to see people help you. People begin to say, oh, this is a great idea. How can we partner with you? And stuff like that. And hopefully you should be able to, at the end of the year, get what you want. But it's also possible that you don't achieve all that you wanted to achieve at the end of the year. That's not the end of the world, but at least you made a move. So there's no guarantee really that after planning and putting your plans into action that you will realize it the way you thought about it before. There's no guarantee, but at least you've made a move. You've changed your current situation and stuffs like that. So the last thing I'm going to talk about is, how would you know when you get there? That is, how do I evaluate that the things I did, I was able to achieve them? You know, you need to analyze the things you've been doing. That's how you would know. I said I was going to enter into university. I said I was going to start a new business. I said I was going to get married. I said I was going to have more time with my family. How would you know that you have achieve those things? It might look very simple and intuitive to say, of course, if I enter into university, I will know I've entered university. If I start a business, I will know I've started a business. But the thing there is that you need to have your analysis, evaluation done. How do you do that? You can do daily monitoring of what you're doing or weekly monitoring. You can do journaling. Like every now and then you're writing down what you've been doing and how things have been developing. So you do that. You can also, every at the end of each month, take a stock of what you have done the previous month. Look at the weeks within the month and see what you've been able to do in line with that your vision. So it helps you to say at the end of the year, this is my performance. So you map your performance against your target. Remember, we talked about smart target or smart goal. So you are now going to match your performance against that goal that you set. And that will give you an idea. Did I have up to 100% of what I was supposed to do? Was it 70%? Was it 50%? Was it 25%? Whatever it is, you'll be able to know how you have departed or how aligned you are with the vision that you set for yourself for the year 2025. So with this, I think you'll be able to have a more meaningful year than just coming up on the 1st of January of the next year and say, these are my resolution. I want to stop this. I want to stop that. I want to start this. I want to start that. You need to sit down, take some days off, retreat, write the things you want to do, take account of your current situation, do a SWOT analysis, then cast a vision, set a smart goal, and also start implementing as soon as possible. Take incremental steps, reflect on what you have done, and try as much as possible um, to sort of be flexible in what you're doing. If what you tried today didn't work, there might be a tweak to that will improve on that. Thank you for listening to me. And if you want to connect with me, you can do that on YouTube, you can do that on Telegram, you can do that on LinkedIn, you can do that on Facebook and other social media outlets there. Just check Carlodo, you will see me there. And I'm happy to collaborate and I'm happy to answer to your questions. Thank you very much. And I wish you Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Thank you very much. Bye.